word clear is, the C stands for clarify your vision. We talked about that in the last call. List your priorities. That's what the L stands for. E stands for engage in actionable steps, right? We're not just hearers of the word, we're doers of the word. So I don't just get the vision and hold on to the vision. I do what the word says. I wait on the Lord. And that word wait on the Lord, which many of you have heard before, is not just sit around and do nothing. That word wait on the Lord means to serve, right? To serve, which means, and what does a waiter do in a restaurant? Right? A good waiter doesn't just stand over at the bar or stand in the back kitchen, smoking a cigarette and texting and watching Netflix. A good waiter is serving, right? And making sure that the tables are being attended to. And that waiter, if he's doing a good job, what's going to happen? He's going to receive a tip. He's going to receive a reward, right? And so that's what we're called to do while we're waiting on our dream to manifest, while we're waiting on our goals to manifest. We are to wait. We are to serve the tables that God has called us to serve. And if we'll serve those tables, what God has called us to serve and the capacity that he's called us to serve in, think about this, then we'll get tipped. There'll be reward from being in the right space and place. There'll be reward from being in the right space and place. And putting my hand to the plow, not just looking at the plow and saying, you know what, plow work. No, the word says, put your hand to the plow. God will bless whatever you put your hand to. And the best thing to put your hand on is the thing that God has called you to put your hand on. If you put your hand on the thing, the occupation, the dream, the ministry, whatever it is that God has called you to, if it's his vision, there's provision. If he's guiding, he's providing. This is why getting clear is really important, because if I'm clear about what God wants me to do, man, he's going to fund this thing. He's going to provide for this thing. Even the times where it doesn't seem like he's providing, David said, I was young and now I'm old and I've never seen the righteous forsaken nor a seed begging bread. Man, I can say the same thing. I mean, no matter what area of my life I've been walking through, think about it. I mean, for years now, this has been going on for years. In the good times, the lean times, in the prosperous times, and the not so prosperous times, I have never been forsaken. God somehow, some way, has always met my need. And I believe many of you can say the same thing. We may not have had everything we wanted at the time, but I'm going to tell you right now, most of us, if we're honest and if we really look at it and if we're grateful, can say that we've always had what we need if you're a kingdom person. So we're going to clarify the vision. We're going to list our priorities. We're going to engage in actionable steps. And then the A stands for assess your progress. We're not just going to, let months go by and not evaluate the progress. Smart people evaluate, not daily. You don't want to be evaluating yourself daily, especially if you're working on projects. That's ridiculous. Give yourself a week and work through the whole give yourself time to work on the project before you start analyzing yourself and criticizing yourself, right? That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? But you can't let a whole month go by if you're trying to lose weight to check in, right? You can't let a whole month go by if you're working on a major project and you haven't talked to your team members, right? This is something that you've got to check in on and assess. And if you find yourself moving in the wrong direction, you don't beat yourself up, right? You don't condemn yourself. You don't throw in the towel. You just course correct.